Hello again, friends. So, before we get too far into this, I want to ask you a small favor. I've been feeling a little down lately. A little blue, if you will. Sorry, couldn't resist. Anyway, I'm hoping you will all go down in the comments and just say hi. I hope it's not too much to ask. It could just be the weather and it will pass, but I think it would lift my spirits a lot. So, now to our regular rambling. I am once again doing a Russian tale, or more accurately, a Slavic story. And once again, it's by accident. You see, I was really disappointed by the Frog Prince. I just remember it being so much better. I started doing research and I stumbled upon this story. I thought to myself, it can't possibly be worse than the Frog Prince. So I bring to you the Frog Princess. Let's discover it together, shall we? In days gone by, there was a king who had 3 sons. When his sons came of age, the king called them to him and said, "My dear lads, I want you to get married so that I may see your little ones, my grandchildren, before I die." So I'm guessing they were triplets, since they all came of age at the same time? And his sons replied, "Very well, father, give us your blessing. Who do you want us to marry? Each of you must take an arrow, go out into the green meadow and shoot it. Where the arrows fall, there shall your destiny be." That's a very risky way of choosing a life partner. So the sons bowed to their father, and each of them took an arrow and went out into the green meadow, where they drew their bows and let fly their arrows. The arrow of the eldest son fell in the courtyard of a nobleman, and the nobleman's daughter picked it up. Well, that's lucky. I hope she's single, and older than 7. The arrow of the middle son fell in the yard of a merchant, and the merchant's daughter picked it up. Oh, another lucky arrow, with the same provisos.
There are a few provisos.
But the arrow of the youngest son, Prince Ivan, Didn't we have a Prince Ivan in the last story? I wonder if that's like, John. Prince Ivan flew up and away, he knew not where. He walked on and on in search of it, and at last he came to a marsh, where what should he see but a frog, sitting on a leaf, with the arrow in its mouth. Prince Ivan said to it, "Frog, frog, give me back my arrow." And the arrow replied, "Marry me." "Ah! A talking frog!" "How can I marry a frog?" "Marry me, for it is your destiny."
"I'm your density."
Prince Ivan was sadly disappointed. But what could he do? Maybe not marry a frog? He picked up the frog and brought it home. The king celebrated 3 weddings. His oldest son was married to the nobleman's daughter, his middle son to the merchant's daughter, and poor Ivan to the frog.
Everybody's okay with this?
Did I miss something?
One day, the king called his sons and said, "I want to see which of your wives is most skilled with her needle. Let them each sew me a shirt by tomorrow morning." The sons bowed to their father and went out. Prince Ivan went home, sat in a corner looking very sad. The frog hopped about on the floor and said to him, "Why are you so sad, Prince Ivan? Are you in trouble? My father wants you to sew him a shirt by tomorrow morning." Said the frog, "Don't be downhearted, Prince Ivan. Go to bed. Night is the mother of counsel." So I have never heard that phrase before, that I remember. But when I asked Google, I got so many responses in so many languages. Jules Verne even uses it in one of his books. So now I'm going to try to work that into my everyday language and see how it goes.
Try and use it in a sentence today.
So Prince Ivan went to bed, and the frog hopped out onto the doorstep, cast off her frog skin, and turned into Vasilisa the Wise, a maiden fair beyond compare. First off, ah! Second, Did they mean that to rhyme, or was that just a lucky coincidence? She clapped her hands and cried, "Maids and nurses, get ready, work steady. By tomorrow morning, sew me a shirt like the one my own father used to wear." That's cheating. When Prince Ivan awoke the next morning, the frog was hopping about on the floor again, and on the table, wrapped up in a linen towel, the shirt lay. Prince Ivan was delighted. He picked up the shirt and took it to his father. He found the king receiving gifts from his other sons. When the eldest laid out his shirt, the king said, "This shirt will do for one of my servants." When the middle son laid out his shirt, the king said, "This one is good only for the bathhouse." Prince Ivan laid out his shirt, handsomely embroidered in gold and silver. The king took one look at it and said, "Now this is a shirt indeed. I shall wear it on the best occasion." The two older brothers went home and said to each other, "It looks as though we had laughed at Prince Ivan's wife for nothing. It seems she is not a frog, but a sorceress. She's a witch! Burn her!" Except she's kind of hard to set fire on, being all slimy and...
And I'm slimy?
No. That is not slime.
What?
You are secreting mucus.
Anyway, again the king called his sons. "Let your wives bake me bread by tomorrow morning," he said. "I want to know which one cooks the best." Prince Ivan came home looking very sad again. The frog said to him, "Why are you so sad, Prince?" "The king wants you to bake bread for him by tomorrow morning," replied her husband. "Don't be downhearted, Prince Ivan. Go to bed. Night is the mother of counsel." Now, those other daughters-in-law had made fun of the frog at first, but this time they sent an old henwife to see how the frog baked her bread. But the frog was cunning and guessed what they were about. She kneaded the dough, broke the top of the stove, and emptied the dough trough straight down the hole. The old henwife ran back to the other wives and told them what she had seen. And they did as the frog had done. So, is it a hen or a woman or what? Google? Henwife, plural, henwives. A woman in charge of domestic fowl, sometimes used contemptuously about men. I love learning new things. Then the frog hopped out onto the doorstep, turned into Vasilisa the Wise, and clapped her hands and cried, "Maids and nurses, get ready, work steady. By tomorrow morning bake me a soft white loaf like the ones I ate when I lived at home." Still cheating. Prince Ivan woke up in the morning, and there on the table he saw a loaf of bread with all kinds of pretty designs on it. On the sides were quaint figures, royal cities with walls and gates. Prince Ivan was ever so pleased. He wrapped the loaf up in a linen towel and took it to his father. Just then the king was receiving the loaves from his elder sons. Their wives had dropped the dough into the fire, as the old henwife had told them, and it came out as just a lump of charred dough. The king took the loaf from his eldest son, looked at it, and sent it to the servants' hall. He took the loaf from his middle son and did the same thing with that. But when Prince Ivan handed him his loaf, the king said, "Now that is what I call bread. It is fit to be eaten only on holidays." And the king bade his sons come to his feast the next day and bring their wives with them. Prince Ivan came home grieving again. The frog hopped up and said, "Why are you so sad, Prince Ivan? Has your father said anything unkind to you?" "Froggy, my frog, how can I help being sad? My father wants me to bring you to his feast. But how can you appear before people as my wife?" "Don't be downhearted, Prince Ivan," said the frog. "Go to the feast alone, and I will come later. When you hear a knocking and a banging, do not be afraid. If you are asked, say only it is your froggy riding in her box." It's kind of sweet and a little bit disturbing that he has a pet name for his wife. Frog. So, Prince Ivan went by himself. His elder brothers drove up with their wives, rouged and powdered and dressed in fine clothes. They stood there and mocked Prince Ivan. "Why did you not bring your wife? You could have brought her in a handkerchief. And where indeed did you find such a beauty? You must have searched all the marshes for her." Rude. The king and his sons and daughters-in-law and all the guests sat down to feast at the oaken tables covered with handsome cloths. All at once there was a knocking and a banging that made the whole palace shake. The guests jumped up in fright, but Prince Ivan said, "Do not be afraid, good people. It is only my Froggy riding in her box." Just then a gilded carriage drawn by 6 white horses dashed up to the palace door, and out of it stepped Vasilisa the Wise, in a dress of sky-blue silk strewn with stars and a shining moon upon her head. A maiden as fair as the sky at dawn, the fairest maiden ever born. She took Prince Ivan by the hand and led him to the oaken tables with the handsome cloths on them. She's a moon on her head? I think I understand the gravity of that situation. I wonder if she causes waves when she enters. I bet she eclipses the beauty of the other women. All the men probably fall in her orbit. Okay, I'll stop now. The guests began to eat, drink, and make merry. Vasilisa the Wise drank from her glass and emptied the dregs into her left sleeve. Then she ate some swan meat and put the bones in her right sleeve. The wives of the elder princes saw her doing this, and they did the same. When the eating and drinking were over, the time came for dancing. Vasilisa the Wise took Prince Ivan and tripped off with him. She whirled and danced, and everybody watched and marveled. She waved her left sleeve, and a lake appeared. She waved her right sleeve, and white swans began to swim on the lake. The king and his guests were struck with wonder. And the janitorial staff began to mutter to each other in frustration and look for very big mops. Then the other daughters-in-law went to dance. They waved one sleeve, but only splashed wine over the guests. They waved the other, but only scattered bones, and one bone hit the king right in the forehead. The king flew into a rage and drove both daughters-in-law away. That seems like an extreme reaction. Meanwhile, Prince Ivan slipped out and ran home. There he found the frog skin and threw it into the fire. When Vasilisa the Wise came home, she looked for the frog skin but could not find it. She sat down on a bench, sorely grieved, and said to Prince Ivan, "Ah, Prince Ivan, what have you done? Had you but waited 3 more days, I would have been yours forever." Things that would have been useful to know yesterday. But now, farewell. Seek me beyond the thrice 9 lands, in the thrice 10 kingdom, where where the deathless dwells. Gosh, that sounds ominous. So saying, Vasilisa the Wise turned herself into a gray cuckoo and flew out of the window. Prince Ivan wept long and hard, then bowed in all 4 directions and went forth, he knew not where, to seek his wife, Vasilisa the Wise. How long he walked is hard to say, but his boots wore down at the heels, his tunic wore out at the elbows, and his cap became battered by the rain. By and by he met a little man, as old can be. So, 30? "Good day, my lad," said the little old man. "Where are you going, and what is your errand?" Prince Ivan told him about his troubles. "Ah, why did you burn the frog skin, Prince Ivan?" said the little old man. "It was not yours to keep or do away with. Vasilisa the Wise was born wiser than her father, and that made him so angry that he turned her into a frog for 3 years. Ah, well, it cannot be helped now. Take this ball of yarn and follow it without fear wherever it rolls." "Gosh, thanks, strange little old man. I'm off to probably walk off a cliff." Prince Ivan thanked the little old man and followed the ball of yarn. It rolled on, and he came after. In an open field, he met a bear. Prince Ivan took aim and was about to kill it, but the bear spoke in a human voice. "Do not kill me, Prince Ivan, for you may have need of me some day." "Ah! A talking bear!" Prince Ivan spared the bear's life and went on further. Suddenly, he saw a drake flying overhead. He took aim with his bow, but the drake said in a human voice, "Do not kill me, Prince Ivan, for you may have need of me some day." "Ah! A talking drake!" And by drake they mean Google? Oh, a male duck. Phew! I thought maybe it was a dragon or something. He spared the drake and went on. A hare came running by. Again, Prince Ivan snatched his bow to shoot it, but the hare said in a human voice, "Do not kill me, Prince Ivan, for you may have need of me some day." Ah! A talking hare!
What's up, Doc?
So, is it just me? Or should he just stop trying to kill things? So he spared the hare and went on. He came to the blue sea and saw a pike lying on the sandy beach, gasping for breath. "Ah, Prince Ivan," said the pike, "take pity on me and throw me back into the blue sea." Ah, talking fish. You know what? Never mind. After the frog, bear, duck, and rabbit, I'd be pretty over the whole talking animal thing by now. So, he threw the pike into the sea and walked along the shore. By and by, the ball of yarn rolled into a forest, and there stood a little hut on hen's feet, turning around and round. Little hut, turn your back to the trees and your face to me, please." Ooh. We know who this is, don't we? I won't spoil it if you're new here. The hut turned its face to him, and its back to the trees. Prince Ivan walked in, and there, sitting in the corner, was Baba Yaga, the witch with a broom and a switch, a bony hag with a nose like a snag. When she saw him, she said, "Ugh, ugh, Russian blood, never met by me before. Now I smell it at my door. Who comes here, where from, and where to?" All right, so we know the best way to survive Baba Yaga is to be both clever and respectful. How you greet her is very important. "You might give me meat and drink and a steam bath before asking questions," retorted Prince Ivan. Yep, he's dead. So Baba Yaga gave him a steam bath and gave him meat and drink and put him to bed. Probably in a really large cauldron with, potatoes and carrots. Then Prince Ivan told her he was seeking his wife, Vasilisa the Wise. I know, said Baba Yaga. "Your wife is now in the power of Koshchi the Deathless. It will be hard for you to get him back. Koshi is more than a match for you. His death is at the point of a needle. The needle is in an egg. The egg is in a duck. The duck is in a hare. The hare is in a stone casket. The casket is at the top of a tall oak tree that Koshi the Deathless guards as the apple of his eye. I don't know why she followed the fly. Perhaps she'll die." I'm kind of surprised he lived through that, though. I mean, usually she kills people like him, and also, is it just me, or is this really unnecessarily complicated? Prince Ivan spent the night at Baba Yaga's, and in the morning she showed him the way to the tall oak. How long he walked it is hard to say, but by and by he came to the tall tree with the stone casket at the top of it. But it was very hard to reach. Suddenly, up came the bear, whose life he had spared, and pulled the tree out, roots and all. Down fell the casket and broke open. Out of the casket sprang a hare and scampered off as fast as it could. The other hare, whose life Prince Ivan had spared, gave chase, caught it, and tore it to bits. Has anyone else seen Watership Down? Never mind. Out of the dead hare flew a duck. and shot high into the sky. But in a twinkling, the drake, whose life Prince Ivan had spared, was at it. The duck dropped the egg, and down it fell into the blue sea. I kind of feel like I know where this is going. At this, Prince Ivan wept bitter tears. How could he find the egg in the sea? But all at once, the pike, whose life Prince Ivan had spared, swam up with the egg in its mouth. Prince Ivan broke the egg, took the needle out, and set about breaking the point off. The more he bent it, the more Koshi the Jestless writhed and screamed, but all in vain. Prince Ivan broke off the point of the needle, and Koshi fell down dead. Well, that was so much easier than I was expecting. Prince Ivan went to Koshi's white stone palace. Vasilisa the Wise came running out to meet him and kissed him deeply. And Prince Ivan and Vasilisa the Wise went back to their own home and lived in peace and happiness to a ripe old age. Well, that was certainly complicated. Also, why do they always wait to tell their partner the rules until after they've been broken? Why is it never, you can't look at my face for 1 year because of a curse, and if you do, I will disappear? Why is it always, you broke the rules I never told you about, so now I must disappear? Oh well. Let me know what you think about the story. I'm beginning to wonder how many stories I love are actually Slavic stories in disguise. I suppose we have now come to the part where I ask you to like, share, and subscribe. Everything you do helps. We are beginning to get more daily views, and that's really exciting. I can't thank you enough for your help there. If you'd like to be notified of all of my videos, just hit the bell and tell it to notify you of all. It would mean a lot to me. I would like to thank Pixabay.com for all the wonderful images and sounds provided by their content creators. You should really check them out. They are an amazing website full of so many wonderful things. If you would like to support me on Patreon, Instagram, or Facebook, there are links in the description below, as well as timestamps for when the story actually starts. It's useful, for when I go off on a tangent. I would also like to thank you for being here with me. I do this for you, my wonderful friends. I'm glad we found each other. And now, a special thank you for my Patreon friends. Can you snore a little louder, Rosie? Because I don't think they realize that the story put you to sleep.